Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Sorry for the delayed review this week. I took a little mini vacay to kind of recharge the batteries. And I had a choice of a couple movies to watch when I got back. It was pretty much either Free Guy or Don't Breathe 2. Two very different movies, but since nothing about Free Guy looked appealing to me, why? And I did enjoy the first Don't Breathe, so I figured, why not do the sequel? So this movie, surprise surprise, is already receiving some controversy. Basically for turning Stephen Lang's character into a protagonist of sorts. Now given what we know about him from the first movie and his unconventional use of turkey basters, I will admit that it's a bit of an awkward transition to try to make. To be fair, like the first movie, in this movie, no one is innocent. Regardless of how twisted the occupant of this house may be, if you're the intruders, you're still breaking and entering and probably trying to do more. So in a way, you get what's coming to you. I guess what I'm trying to say is that everyone in these movies are pretty much assholes.
I knew it, I'm surrounded by assholes.
So there really isn't any good guy. I would argue that the true protagonist of this story anyway is the little girl. This is a tragic story and she is the real victim here. Throughout the course of this movie, she's just removed from one fucked up situation and placed into another one. It does kind of harden her throughout the course of the movie, which is a shame because she goes through things that a kid should never have to go through. Stephen Lang is still great in this role. I think he's a menacing presence and he's brutal as all hell. This movie is designed to be a bit of a redemption story for him, which is sure to ruffle some feathers. Like I said, not everyone is going to be so accepting to that notion, and I understand that. But there is something to be said and quite interesting about a character coming to the realization that he's a monster, and realizing that it's best for him and everyone around him if he just doesn't have contact with people. Something as simple as not killing a dog does wonders for how an audience views that character.
That makes sense.
As far as the intruders this time around, this is where I have some issues. The twist at the end of the first movie did kind of come out of left field, and it did feel a little bit too demented. And the twist in this movie felt even more like it was out of left field. To be clear, I do not intend to spoil that moment here, but I will say it's very fucked up when it's revealed what the whole plan actually is. And as I watched it, I just had questions as to whether or not that actually made sense to me. It's really hard to talk about it without spoiling it, but I'm trying my best.
You have the luxury of not knowing what I know.
There are a lot of logic gaps in this movie that you kind of have to overlook if you want to find enjoyment out of it. These are very typical logic gaps that you would find in a horror movie or a movie like this in general. For me personally, it's much easier for me to overlook things and enjoy this type of movie because I'm just more inclined not to worry about all the details necessarily. Because it gives me what I want from a horror movie. It gives you brutality, it gives you moments of genuine tension.
See anything you like?
And I have to care about someone, and in this case I do, and that would be the little girl. There are moments like when the old blind guy takes down someone who's much younger and stronger than he is, and it does feel a little bit out of place and quite frankly unbelievable. There's another moment where he's able to tip over this large metal cabinet that's filled with water, and most people just wouldn't be able to do that. But these are the moments I'm talking about when a viewer has to decide whether or not they can suspend their disbelief or not. Overall, I was entertained by Don't Breathe 2 at the most basic level. It gave me what I want from a movie that's about a blind guy who kills people that come into his house unwarranted. They do take these big leaps with the Stephen Lang character that are desperately trying to make him into some kind of anti-hero. To be honest, some of those moments work and some of them don't. I think maybe if there was a movie in between these two movies to show a more gradual ascent to that character, then the transition wouldn't have felt so drastic. Listen, I'm fully prepared to admit that this movie has its flaws, but I was entertained by it anyway. And honestly, I think that falls right in line with the guilty pleasure territory. Which means that I'm going to be giving Don't Breathe 2 my first ever Cathouse.
Saved by kitty litter.
So have you seen Don't Breathe 2? If you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Nah.
I'm just gonna bash your brain.